The most common question I get about working with Yaqeen is, Tasneem, why are your papers so long? And the short answer is they have to be. They have to be because we're dealing with really dense topics. We're talking about theology, law, philosophy, ethics, morality, politics. Very dense topics, if you ask me. And in order to really comprehensively answer these questions, address these topics from as many angles as we can, we have to be able to give it its full context and its full due. So take, for example, one of our longer papers about stoning and hand cutting in Islamic law. In order to really thoroughly answer that topic, address that topic, we've got to give some context. We've got to talk about what is Islamic law. We've got to talk about what are punishments, what do they look like throughout history, how Islamic jurists themselves responded to topics on punishments, how are punishments conceived of today? And we've got to put all of these puzzle pieces together to be able to address this big topic. And so if we don't answer all of these topics in as many angles as we possibly can, we're not answering everything. Unfortunately, nothing that can't be done in one paper. But say, for example, we missed a pretty important question because we wanted to keep our papers a bit shorter. You might walk away as a reader or anyone who's approaching these papers and think to themselves, well, maybe they didn't answer this question or they didn't engage this perspective because there's no answer. And maybe Islamic law isn't right on this. So in order to be able to really get into these topics and to get into the nitty-gritty, we've got to address them from multiple perspectives and respond to the questions that you might be thinking before you start thinking them. That way, when you read through our papers, you're focusing on answering the topic itself to dismantle your doubts and nurture your conviction.
Yes, the papers are long, but let me ask you, many times when people will say, what does Islam say about this? And the way they receive their answer or knowledge about that issue may not be sufficient for one person and may be sufficient for another. For example, someone may say, I want an explanation to honor killings. And I want something that's extensive because I'm an imam of a mosque, or I want to explain it to my child. But I love reading. I don't like watching videos and obtaining knowledge that way. So a research paper is perfect for them. There may be someone that's a collegiate and wants to break it down with a group of people. Well, the methodology of Yaqeen in regard to these long research papers is that we break them down to where it's palatable for your learning experience. For instance, a paper will be broken down into a conviction circle, as we have the conviction circles, where it's slightly summarized and it gives a teaching method or a way to converse with those for that particular paper that may be very extensive. We also have infographics that you see on our Instagram that summarizes a paper and gives you the gist or the basic ideas that one needs to leave with in order to understand what the paper was generally trying to articulate. There's even conversations. It's a card deck. You can sit with your loved ones and friends at night or during the day to talk about the big question that that paper is trying to answer. There's even Yaqeen Academy, where Yaqeen Academy is kind of like Khan Academy, to where one can learn about certain issues on that paper and they can take it in a bite-sized method to where your kid or your young child is able to understand what that general long paper was trying to articulate. In other words, we want to make this accessible for different types of people with different learning experiences to where they're able to nurture their conviction and dismantle any doubt, one paper, one truth at a time.